Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to learn about a very interesting chapter, that is control and coordination. So let's start the class. तो अब हम क्लास को कुछ सिंपल एग्जांपल्स के साथ स्टार्ट करते हैं। तो बचपन में हम सब ने एक्सपीरियंस किया हुआ है कि जैसे ही हम टच मी नॉट प्लांट को टच करते हैं तो प्लांट अपनी लीव्स को फोल्ड कर लेता है। तो इस सिचुएशन के दौरान जब हम प्लांट को टच करते हैं, दैट टच इज द स्टिमुलस फॉर द प्लांट, एंड व्हेन द प्लांट फोल्डिंग इट्स लीफ, दैट इज द रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ द प्लांट। सिमिलरली हम सब ने लाइफ में एक्सपीरियंस किया हुआ है, जैसे ही अननोइंगली हमारा हाथ किसी हॉट ऑब्जेक्ट पे लग जाता है या टच हो जाता है, तो हम इमीडिएटली अपना हाथ हटा लेते हैं। So in both the cases, control and coordination is takes place. तो हम इस चैप्टर में यही देखेंगे कि कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन कैसे होता है, प्लांट्स में कैसे होता है, एनिमल्स में कैसे होता है। तो अब हम देखेंगे कि एनिमल्स के अंदर कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन कैसे होता है। तो मल्टीसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स के अंदर काफी सारे ऑर्गन्स फंक्शन कर रहे होते हैं, तो उन सब ऑर्गन्स को कोऑर्डिनेट करना होता है। तो हमारी बॉडी के अंदर मेनली टू सिस्टम्स आर रिस्पांसिबल फॉर कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन। These systems are nervous system and endocrine system. So firstly we will learn in detail about the nervous system. In human body, nervous system is made up of some special tissue. That tissue is known as nervous tissue, and this tissue is further formed of some special cells. That cells are known as neurons or nerve cells. So in human body, nervous system is mainly responsible for control and coordination, and nervous system consists of brain, spinal cord, and huge network of nerves. So mainly which system is responsible for control and coordination? It is nervous system. Now let's see the function of the nervous system. Nervous system, it receives information from the environment through the stimulus. After that, it also receives the information from the other part of the body, and after getting the information, then our brain act according to according through the muscles and glands. आइए अब हम देखते हैं स्टिमुलस क्या होता है। मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया था कि हम हॉट ऑब्जेक्ट को टच करते हैं, तो जैसे ही हम हॉट ऑब्जेक्ट को टच करते हैं तो हॉट ऑब्जेक्ट इज एक्टिंग एज ए स्टिमुलस, और हमारा हाथ हटाना इज द रिस्पॉन्स। So what is stimulus? The change in the environment to which living organism respond. To which the living organism respond is known as stimulus. Touching hot object. तो इस situation के अंदर hot object is the stimulus. Similarly, in the same situation, removal of our hand, that is the response. So the reaction of our body to a stimulus is called response. Now what is coordination? तो हमारी बॉडी काफी सारे ऑर्गन्स की मिलके बनी होती है, बहुत सारे ऑर्गन्स काम कर रहे होते हैं एक साथ मिलके, तो वो कैसे प्रॉपरली काम करते हैं, कैसे रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं कलेक्टिवली to a stimulus, that is known as coordination. So the working together of various organs of the body of an organism in proper manner to produce appropriate reaction to a stimulus is called coordination. Now let's understand the role of receptor. What are the receptors? So there are some receptors which are present on our sensory organs. Human body has mainly 5 sense organs. These are ear, eyes, nose, skin, and tongue. So these sensory organs have some special cells, and these special cells has capacity to send the signal through to the neuron, and then again brain will process it and again send the signal to our, in this situation, to our hand. So receptor, these are the some specialized type of some nerve cell that can detect and collect the information from the environment, and this is known as receptor. So phonoreceptor, These receptors are present on our ears, and these receptors collect the information from the ear. Now photoreceptor, these receptors are present on eye and they can detect the light. Now olfactory receptor, olfactory means the word related to smell, means these receptors can detect the smell. Now thermoreceptor, thermoreceptors are present on our skin and these receptors can sense the touch, pain or heat. Next is gustatory receptor. These receptors are present on our tongue and they can sense the taste. So in this manner these receptors work. In next slide आइए तब हम देखते हैं न्यूरॉन क्या होता है and what are the parts of the neuron and neuron work कैसे करते हैं. So neuron is the specialized cells. These are the structure and functional unit of the nervous system. Nervous system is made up of these cells and these neurons are responsible for the transfer of the nerve impulses. Now, part of the neuron. Neuron has mainly three parts. These are dendrites, cell body, axon. So, what is the function of dendrite? Actually, this hair-like structure, these are known as dendrites. So, these dendrites receive the information from the surrounding. Then, this is the cell body, and cell body contain the nucleus. Then, the information which is received by dendrite, it transferred through the cell body to in the form of electrical impulses through the axon. This part is known as axon till the axon now ends. Now, so neuron is consist of three parts. These are dendrites. These are here like such a dendrites. In between nucleus will be there. And this is known as cell body. And this long part is known as axon. And these are the terminal branch of the axon. Now, information received by the dendrites, it transferred through the cell body, through the axon till the terminal branches of the axon. Now we will see the properly its working. So you can see information is received by dendrite, then through the in the form of electrical impulses, it is transferred to the terminal branch of the axon. Now, how the information transfer from one neuron to another neuron. So you can see this is the one neuron and then this is the another neuron. So in between there is a synapse. तब हम देखेंगे synapse क्या होता है. So synapse is the point contact between the terminal branch. These are the terminal branch of axon of one neuron and these are the dendrite of the another neuron. So ये एक point of contact होता है between the terminal branch of axon of one neuron with the dendrite of another neuron. So this space is known as synapse. So with the help of synapse, information transfer from one neuron to another neuron. Through this flowchart you can understand. You start to consider from here. So dendrite of this neuron will receive the information, then information transfer through the cell body to the axon. These are the nerve ending at the tip of the axon. Then this is the synapse. Through the synapse, information transfer to the dendrite of another neuron. Yes, and similarly, this information transferred to the next neuron. So here some chemicals are released at the tip of the axon. Some chemicals are released and these chemicals cross the synapse and transfer the information to the another neuron. So अब हम देखेंगे type of neuron. Generally neuron is made of three types. These are sensory neuron, second motor neuron, third relay neuron, sensory neurons. So these neurons are responsible for receiving the signal from a sense organ. Second motor neuron, after getting the signal our brain process it and then again send the signal through the motor neuron to the respective muscle or gland. So motor neuron, these neurons send signals to a muscle or a gland or a effector organ. Now relay neuron, it is the like a connecting link between sensory neuron and motor neuron. So these neurons help in relaying the signal between sensory neuron and motor neuron. Now type of responses. First is voluntary. What is the meaning of voluntary? Means the functions or the actions which are under our control, that actions are known as voluntary. And some actions which are not under our control are known as involuntary. जैसे कि talking, walking, these are the voluntary actions. We can control these actions. While involuntary actions like heartbeat, respiration, sneezing, blinking of our eyes, all these are involuntary. How these are involuntary? Because we can't control these actions. And involuntary actions in our body, in our brain is mainly controlled by midbrain and hindbrain. Third is the reflex action. This is the important topic in this chapter. What is reflex actions? So these actions mainly controlled by spinal cord. Okay, and these are automatic response of the body to a stimulus. जैसे कि मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया था स्टार्टिंग में, चैप्टर के स्टार्टिंग में, withdrawal of our hand on touching hot object. तो जैसे ही हम hot object को टच करते हैं और immediately हम हमारा हाथ हटा लेते हैं, so this is also the example of reflex action. So इस action के दौरान हमारा brain involve नहीं होता, only spinal cord उसको control कर रही होती है. So we have learned now three types of responses: voluntary, involuntary, and reflex actions. Voluntary means which are under our control. Involuntary, the actions which are not under our control, like heartbeat and respiration. And reflex actions, these actions are controlled by the spinal cord, and these are the automatic response of the body to a stimulus. Now we will see reflex arc. Reflex arc क्या होता है? तो जैसे रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन हो रहा होता है तो इंफॉर्मेशन कैसे ट्रांसफर होती है, जो नाउ इम्पल्सेस हैं वो कैसे ट्रांसफर होती हैं, तो जो पाथवे को फॉलो करती है उस पाथवे को हम रिफ्लेक्स आर्क बोलते हैं. So the pathway taken by nerve impulse in a reflex action is called the reflex arc. आप इस डायग्राम के थ्रू इसको समझ सकते हैं. जैसे कि ये क्या है, ये एक हॉट ऑब्जेक्ट है और इसमें जो हॉट ऑब्जेक्ट है it is like it is the stimulus, it is acting like a stimulus, and this is our hand, means our skin is touching this hot object, and you know our skin is a sense organ. On our skin some receptors are present, these are known as thermoreceptors. So with the help of that receptor our hand touch the hotness of the object, so that information transfer to the spinal cord with the help of sensory neuron. So sensory neuron receive the signal from the stimulus. Now this sensory neuron send the signal to the spinal cord. Spinal cord is the part of central nervous system. Then it processes the signal and then with the help of relay neuron again send the response to the motor with the help of motor neuron to the particular muscles, our hand muscles, that our hand should be immediately should be removed from here. So effector is the, in this effector is the muscle arm, muscles in the arm. So in this pathway followed, this pathway is known as reflex arc. Now let's understand the mechanism of the reflex arc. So in this mechanism involve a receptor organ, like in this our receptor organ is our hand. So an effector organ along with sensory nerve. So these are sensory nerve, or these sensory nerves, when a sensory receptor organ is stimulated, means gain the stimulus, then it pass the signal along with the sensory neuron to the spinal cord. In reflex action, spinal cord is involved. Then the message travel out from the spinal cord along with the motor neuron to the effector organ. In this effector organ is our hand. Then our hand will show the response. So this pathway is called reflex arc. You can imagine this situation like this: burning candle is the response, is the stimulus to our hand. Then with the help of sensory neuron, information transferred to the spinal cord. Then through the relay neuron, information transferred to the motor neuron, then to the effector organ, and then our effector organ will show the response. This is the flow chart. You can understand stimulus. In this stimulus is the burning candle providing hotness. Sense organ is receptor like our skin. Receptors will present on our hand skin. Then with the help of sensory neuron, that information transferred to the spinal cord. Then with the help of relay neuron, it transferred to the motor neuron, then to the effector organ. Then effector organ will show the response. So this all. तो अब हम देखेंगे नर्वस सिस्टम, ह्यूमन नर्वस सिस्टम को. तो हमारा नर्वस सिस्टम इंक्लूड brain, spinal cord, and network of some nerves. So with the help of this system, brain can receive the signal and can send the signal to the different part of the body. So brain mainly consists of two main parts. This is central nervous system, another is peripheral nervous system. PNS is the peripheral nervous system. Now central nervous system is further divided into two parts, brain and spinal cord. Further, brain is further divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Peripheral nervous system is composed of network of nerves. So there are two types of nerves. These are cranial nerves. These nerves arise from the brain. That's why these are known as cranial nerves. And spinal nerves. These nerves arise from the spinal cord. So now let's understand about the function of the central nervous system. So as we know, central nervous system is mainly composed of brain and spinal cord. So brain control all the function in the human body. In human body, mainly all functions are controlled by our brain. Spinal cord work as, what is the function of spinal cord? It acts as a relay channel for signal between the brain and the peripheral nervous system. This is the function of spinal cord. Now, peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system is composed of cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Cranial nerves arise from the brain and spinal nerves arise from the spinal cord. So there are 12 pair of cranial nerves and 31 pair of the spinal nerve. Now the cranial nerves come out of the brain and go to the organ in the head region, and spinal nerves come out of the spinal cord and go to the organ which are below the head region. Now let's understand the brain and its function. So brain is the main coordinating center in the human body, and our brain is protected by the cranium. This outermost layer is known as the cranium, this skull. So हमारा brain एक protective layer के अंदर होता है, जिस उस protective layer को हम बोलते हैं cranium. So cranium is the covering of the brain, and it is covered by three membranes called meninges. Some layers will be there, and these layers are known as meninges. And these meninges are filled with a fluid. That fluid is known as cerebral fluid. And what is the function of this cerebral fluid? It protects the brain from the shocks. Now, brain has three main parts. These are forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. You can understand the part of human brain. This part, folded region. This part is known as cerebrum. This come under the forebrain. Okay, forebrain. It is mainly form of cerebrum. Cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, and this part, this is known as the midbrain. This is the midbrain, and this below this midbrain. Below this is hypothalamus, and this small structure, ball-like structure, this is the pituitary gland. After this last part is known as the hindbrain, and hindbrain mainly consists of three parts, that is pons. Below the pons it is medulla, and this is the cerebellum. This is the cerebellum, and below this, when we will move, this is the spinal cord. Yes. So, and our brain is protected under a layer, that protecting covering is known as cranium, and another name for it is skull. Now let's understand the part of forebrain and its function. So first is the cerebrum. So cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, and it is responsible for higher order function, mainly in thinking process or intelligence. Only this part is the responsible. So thinking, planning, learning, memory, emotions, and language, in all these activities, cerebrum is involved. Now thalamus. Thalamus is the relay station for sensory information from the body to the cerebrum, and it regulates the sleep, wakefulness, and emotion. So these actions and activities are controlled by the thalamus. Now hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is a very small part but important structure. It regulates important functions of our body, like hunger, thirst, body temperature. All these activities and actions are controlled by the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is the also the hunger center, and control the body temperature. Next is the midbrain. Midbrain mainly involved in the visual and auditory reflexes, and it maintains the consciousness and attention. And all the function involuntary actions generally controlled by midbrain. Next is the hindbrain. Hindbrain consists of these three parts: pons, medulla, and cerebellum. So pons, it is the structure that connects the midbrain to the medulla. With the help pons connect the midbrain to the medulla, and pons are involved in the motor control, respiration, and sleep. Next is medulla oblongata. What is the function of this? And this is the lowest part of the brain stem, and it is involved in variety of functions like involuntary function, breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, and digestion. All these activities of our body controlled by the medulla oblongata. Next is the cerebellum. It is a small structure, and it is located behind the brain stem, and it is involved in coordination, maintaining the body posture, and maintaining the balance of the body. So in all these activity, cerebellum is involved. I hope you understood the concept regarding the nervous system. If you have any questions or any doubt, you can ask in the comment box. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.